back east, and it will continue to do so for a few more days. However, there are some hints, they're not that subtle either, that things will be turning colder over the upper Midwest and eventually the lakes and the Northeast as we get into the tail end of the week. Low pressure back over the southwest right now is going to dawdle a while. We've had quite a bit of rain the past 3 days in Phoenix. We'll get more rainfall tonight into the daytime on Monday. Snow will fall as well, and snow levels will be dropping. There could be some big-time snow in the Four Corners area and also the southern Colorado mountains, the areas around Taos and New Mexico, back on towards Flagstaff and Arizona. As far as the eastern states go, high pressure dominant, hopefully a little more mixing of that air, and therefore we're not going to see as much fog, at least not carrying over into the afternoon as we did today back over the Midwestern states. And again, the east thankfully quieting down, very quiet. The rainfall, a couple of little pitter-patters of rain, nothing big back east, a little bit north of Atlanta right now. Arizona getting the share of heavier rainfall. This little darker stripe is actually snowfall in the rim country of Arizona. Could see another foot of snowfall here. Southern Utah mountains and the southwestern Colorado mountains looking for some big snows. I think there's a winter storm watch for the western mountain areas of New Mexico as well. Tonight, cool at best, really kind of clammy if you want to call it that with that fog in the morning. Watch out Kansas City, St. Louis, and Des Moines. That should burn off a fair amount tomorrow though. Thereafter, Tuesday and Wednesday, still balmy air. Charlotte, Atlanta, Montgomery, Nashville, probably eclipsing 60 both Tuesday and Wednesday. Then it looks like Wednesday night and Thursday, colder air settling back down, and a fairly cold pattern. This could spell some trouble for New York and Chicago and Kansas City by the end of the week. Why? Well, the low in New Mexico begins to pull on out, and as it chugs out, runs into that colder air, so Wichita back towards Pueblo may see a variety of weather. Then as we turn the page on into Thursday and on into Friday now, Chicago over to near New York City and northbound, if you are making some travel plans, maybe in the Times Square for New Year's Eve, you may want to factor that in. Right now, it looks like a cold rain, but it may be even worse. So, Joe, we've made it through one holiday relatively unscathed as far as snowfall goes, but next weekend could change.
That's right. We'll have more details on the extended forecast coming up.
Just weeks from now, Ed McMahon will be congratulating American Family's new multi-millionaire.
And you may be the one. Next month's American Family $10 million winner. Enter fast, win fast, in America's only sweepstakes with my picture. You can be a millionaire, $10 million rich, real fast.
When Ed awards another $10 million prize.
Return the winning number in time and the $10 million grand prize can be yours.
Next month.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Have Having a cat can do wonders for a person's health and happiness. It can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, helping us lead longer, fuller lives. Well, now you can return the favor by feeding your cat Iams every day. Cats love its taste, and it's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams cat food, good for life. From the Iams Company.
Hi, I'm Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Tell me, Becky, when did you know for sure that you'd actually won millions of dollars from American Family?
The day that I met Ed McMahon and he handed me my prize.
Oh, that was a day to remember.
I'll never forget it. The day I got rich.
And another big day is coming up soon, right, Ed?
Oh, yes. You can win $10 million real fast in the only sweepstakes from Dick and me. The winning number may be in your mail right now.
Return it in time and we'll make you rich.
$10 million rich.
Well, skiers in the West, we have not had a whole lot of snow in the past 24 hours. A few spots here and there, like Park City, have 5, Heavenly, Nevada, and California probably have the most. 8 inches there. Winter Park, packed powder at Taos, and Mammoth Mountain, how about that? 14 inches of new snow. So I guess we couldn't say really haven't had snow. We have had some. There's more on the way, however, as this storm system that's in Southern California continues to dump the snow here in Arizona. Now you're looking at a forecast for Tuesday. This is where it sits. There's more moisture coming in. Not another big storm, but looks like a chance at a few more inches in the Sierra and the Bitterroots, Sun Valley, kind of on and off. You'll see some light snow this week. Things begin to quiet down a little bit, looks like by Wednesday, but should be plenty of fresh powder out there this week.
Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Weather information you need whenever you need it. Direct to you by telephone. Call your source of weather information, the Weather Channel Connection.
$250,000 furniture warehouse blowout at Sofa Source. Now through December 31st. Sofa Source, Delaware Valley's largest sofa specialist, must clear their warehouse. A $250,000 inventory of sofas, sleepers, recliners, sectionals, leather chairs, and much more. Must be sold before year end. Save up to 80%. Sofas from $199, chairs from $99, tables from $39, and instant delivery and free financing at Sofa Source. The last and greatest savings event of 1994.
Since 1922, Atkinson Jewelers has provided dependable service, high-quality merchandise, and reasonable prices you can count on. Finding that special gift has never been easier with our excellent selection of diamond engagement and wedding rings, bracelets, and anniversary bands. We also offer a wide selection of giftware, including Lennox, Reed & Barton, and Hummel figurines. Atkinson Jewelers has everything you need for your gift-giving needs. You can count on excellent quality and fabulous selection for every occasion at Atkinson Jewelers, 21 West Winona Avenue, Norwood.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
It's common knowledge that the simple act of petting a dog can make people healthier and happier. It's even been suggested that people who own dogs lead longer, fuller lives. Now, knowing what dogs do for you, wouldn't it be nice to do the same for them? You can, by feeding your dog Iams every day. It's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams dog food, good for life, from the Iams Company.
A look at Alaska, Hawaii. It's still fairly cold up towards Alaska, but not quite as bad as it has been. A lot of cloud cover moving in over the extreme southern part of Alaska, and there's a pretty good sized low that's come on through the Bering Sea area, now moving over the interior, and with that we're getting snow reports out of Nome, and snow is quite likely tonight into tomorrow for the Anchorage area. Fairbanks, not quite as bad as it has been, though. We'll get to that momentarily. Still some trade winds blowing over by Hawaii, but not a bad day. Temperatures now in the low to mid 80s at Honolulu and at Hilo, and any rainfall at Hilo today has been up in the hills rather than in town, so that's a break after a very soggy 94. The rain moving south of Juneau, could be some snow turning over to rain. The big low coming in over the Nome area, some scattered light snows around Fairbanks. 84 sunny at Honolulu, and 83, not a bad day. Some trade winds, but not as bad as they have been around Hilo. 10 below at Fairbanks, 8 above at Anchorage, clouding over in both areas, and 28 at Juneau. May see some snow turning over to rainfall by tomorrow. You hear your wind chills. Travel weather, then the 5-day forecast next.
So Ed, has the $10 million winning number been returned yet?
It could happen any time, Dick. The American Family Sweepstakes is in the mail right now.
And that means?
That means you may be holding the winning number worth millions of dollars.
Don't hold it too long.
Years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
Join the Weather Channel for this year's Tour de Ski. Call 1-800-525-2257 for accommodations and call Christie Sports at 303-949-0151 to register.
I think it's affected our life in a really positive way in that he's relaxed and I've taken control over something and gained confidence.
How would your life improve with Quicken? Listen and find out how you can try it for just $9.95.
Quicken makes you realize what you spent your money on, and therefore you can make the choices and really define what is important to me and what isn't.
Well, Quicken's given us the freedom to do all kinds of things. We've both opened a business. We're taking a vacation to Mexico for the first time in our lives. It's also allowing us to just pursue side interests. I'm going to be learning how to fly, just do all kinds of things that we weren't able to do before.
Now it's your turn. Find out how good it feels to let Quicken, the world's #1 finance software, painlessly organize your finances. You can try it for only $9.95. Yes, only $9.95 to try Quicken. Call now.
1-800-624-1377.
All right, let's start out with looking at travel weather. Then we'll pitch it over to Jill Brown for our forecast. All right, we have rain falling today. Nothing too heavy yet, but I think it's going to get heavier tonight. This is a warm front kind of sticking in from the Pacific over Washington State. That'll come in with a cold front following it overnight tonight, so then snow levels will be dropping up around the Interstate 90 area near Snoqualmie Pass. Rainfall today in California, some areas upwards of an inch of rainfall, and now snow's reported as well. Little rain north of Atlanta, some patchy light rainfall, thankfully up around Cape Cod and offshore Long Island. The heavier rain here across parts of Arizona. The Phoenix area, you've been rather soggy going back to about the 23rd or 22nd, and more rain coming in today, and it will be pretty heavy and pretty steady for the afternoon into the overnight hours. Flood watches up, you can barely see them, but for the Clark County area near Las Vegas, watch out on I-15, and especially some of the low spots in town. Can't see this one too well either, but a couple storms may rumble in off of the Pacific Ocean. They're starting to form out by the Santa Catalina Island area, the Channel Islands, that's what I'm trying to say, and they may meander their way on in later on. Snowy travel we mentioned up in the mountains of Southern California. Mount Wilson, you've had 4 inches up there at about 5,600 feet, and widespread snows in the forecast for today into the overnight hours of tonight into Colorado and New Mexico. This could get pretty heavy in the southwestern Colorado mountains. More persistent fog in southern Idaho, and also pretty foggy south of Kansas City, but thankfully better than it has been, but it may thicken up yet again tonight. Now for the 5-day forecast towards the new year. Here's Joe.
Okay, we're putting Christmas behind us already. That went by quickly. Midday Monday is what we're looking at here. And our storm is still on the map. Now, it's leaving California. We will have some rain, it looks like, maybe over around Needles, where they've actually had a fair amount of rain, and into Arizona, another soaker tomorrow, but this is going to be a real slow mover. So it's just barely coming into Texas. Looks like by Monday afternoon, the snows will continue on in Colorado, along the Mogollon Rim. White Mountains in Arizona should pick up a fair amount of snow. As a matter of fact, heavy snow warnings are in effect for this afternoon and tonight. Those snows probably already beginning to pile up. The snow level should begin to drop as the colder air is drawn in overnight tonight. Well, that's about it. That's one storm. That's it. The east, our storm is gone. High pressure takes over. We'll probably have problems with fog again tomorrow in the plains. In the northwest, this front will just kind of brush Seattle and Astoria, and you have a chance at some rain, but it doesn't look like a big storm. How about temperatures? Well, lows on Monday morning, as perhaps you're heading back out to work or school. Hopefully you still have the day off. It doesn't look too bad out there. Maybe a little chilly in northern New England and in the northern Rockies, but we're going to continue on with relatively mild temperatures, especially here in the east. Now, actually, Florida has been cooler than normal. We'll get you back in the 70s by about Tuesday. How about these 60s streaking up to about Charlottesville and Cleveland? Looks good for you. You'll be in the 50s by Tuesday. We'll hang on to it through Wednesday. Now, by Thursday, we start to see that cold air coming back. 20s are back on the map. Teens back for International Falls after record highs yesterday and today. It's going to get cold again before you know it. So here's our main storm. Comes out to Texas. Rain really on Tuesday. Continues on Wednesday with a chance of some ice. It's going to be just cold enough on the northern fringes of this big rain shield that chances are we will have some problems with ice. Thursday, it looks like Des Moines to Chicago, maybe up towards Milwaukee. A little snow possible as well. As this one pulls up into the northeast, another one comes in following almost the same path. More rain and snow for Southern California and Arizona by the end of the work week.
You are so adorable. Let's wrap you in sugar and spice and everything nice. Bird's Eye, the fresh look for vegetables.
This toilet looks clean, but what about those grungies under the rim? That's why there's Toilet Duck. Its thick, powerful formula gets where others can't always reach, leaving your whole bowl clean and fresh. Nothing fights dirt like duck.
As the seasons change, prepare. Watch the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Hey, look at our radar now. Start you off by checking out the composite. We find a little rainfall kind of menacing the Atlanta area. A lot of it's aloft, though. A lot of that's not quite reaching the ground, as it is kind of running into rather dry air. Any rain pretty much sprinkles offshore Cape Cod and Long Island, so finally a chance to dry out. Not the case out west, as Jill mentioned, a front coming in tonight, so warm front moving through. Temperatures will be rising a bit, then the cold front approaching tomorrow morning, and then thereafter snow levels will begin to come down. For now, the rainfall pretty much moving on through the Hood Canal, getting wet at this hour. California and Arizona rather wet. Flood watches up till 4 o'clock local time around the Las Vegas area. You can see there's an upper low, so the action moving southwestward in LA and northward in the Phoenix area. Let's zoom it in for you. There's our LA radar, there's our Phoenix radar, and let's zoom it from here. You can see our rain, actually snow levels at about 4,000 feet in the San Bernardino Mountains, and the action here tracking southwestward. Meanwhile, the rainfall in the Phoenix area, Maricopa County, pretty heavy rainfall, and all the action here tracking to the north.
You're up in the mountains, the wind is blowing cold. You're trusting a name over 50 years old. From the prairies to the mountains, where the eagle soars. You're working and playing, you're doing your chores. With a style of your own, when you're looking for more. We're walls leading the way outdoors. We're walls leading the way outdoors.
For the Walls retailer near you, call 1-800-447-WHERE.
Looking for a little excitement?
Unusual people.
Exotic places. And of course you want it 24 hours a day. Well, you can find all that and more only on the Travel Channel.
What? Your cable system doesn't carry the Travel Channel?
You should just put down the remote, pick up the phone, and tell your cable operator you want the Travel Channel.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Current regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. The extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Jill Brown and Bill Keneely with you here. John Thayer is our director, and we would all, of course, like to wish you a Merry Christmas. It's been a warm Christmas this year. Haven't had a whole lot of white Christmases reported. As a matter of fact, Portland, Maine, up to 53 degrees, hit a record high today. Fargo, Marquette, International Falls. Now, this is 2 days in a row, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, record highs. We think you'll drop back into the teens by about midweek, so get ready for that. Enjoy the warmth while you have it, I guess. Most of the eastern U.S., a little bit above normal. This has been going on, what, November, now December. 53 in Boston and New York City on Christmas Day. Actually, New York, I think you're up to 55 last hour, so it's beginning to cool off a little bit, but we're looking at some pretty mild readings. Until you get down into Florida, 60s is actually, of course, a little bit below normal for this time of year and not what the tourists are looking for. Hang in there. We think it's going to be a little bit warmer for you tomorrow. Into Tuesday, we should see more 70s coming back. Can't really promise you the 80s at this point, but I think 70s won't be too bad. So what do we have going on besides warm weather in the east? A little bit of a fog problem, that's for sure. In the west, we have our snowstorm, which doesn't look too impressive on this map, but we'll zero in on it in a minute. And we had a nor'easter about 24 hours ago. It's still out there, but it's now far enough off the coast that the winds have died way down, and the rain has dissipated, And basically it ended up to be a pretty nice Christmas day with the warm weather out there. We'll watch for this front as it slides through tomorrow. Temperatures will probably be about 10 degrees cooler, but still looks like a pretty mild week ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look at our radar, and we'll show you what's left of the rain. Now, around Nantucket, the islands, we've had some on and off reports of light rain today. I think that's about it. Even on Long Island, while there may have been a little bit of light rain around Montauk earlier, looks like that's pretty much history. Taking a little bit farther to the south, and you do find clouds here. Virginia, North Carolina, those clouds have come down around Atlanta, and there's just a little bit of rain out here. Let's see what shows up on radar. Around Lake Lanier, a few sprinkles. Around Atlanta, the sun was shining. Next thing I know, I looked out the window and there was a little bit of wetness on the pavement, although the rain had already stopped. So the rain that's here is pretty light. It's not going to be a real problem. Charleston, we may get a few more showers for you tomorrow. We have a little area of low pressure developing. Doesn't look like it's going to be a big problem. It should move out in a hurry, but a little questionable here for about the next 24 hours. Take you west into the plains. As I mentioned, fog has been a real problem here. It's definitely diminishing at this point, but it's pretty late in the day. It's about time. We'll see it redevelop, we think, again tonight, and then burn off very slowly again tomorrow. Now, with the fog, not only have we had visibility down to a quarter of a mile or less, but we've had a little bit of ice out there. So watch for that tonight as that fog begins to redevelop. Let's keep going west, and here's where we find our next snowstorm, settling its way down through Southern California. A lot of heavy snow with this one. It may not be covering a whole lot of ground at this time, but where they've been getting the snow, it has really been dumping, and we've been getting reports of winter storm warnings, heavy snow warnings from about the San Bernardino Mountains on south, heavy snow warnings now in effect for the Mogollon Rim and the White Mountains of Arizona. It's going to be some good skiing here as soon as the storm system moves out. Now, it's going to be hanging around for a good couple of days. Let's go ahead and check our forecast, and we'll show you how slowly this one moves along. Midday Monday. Well, most of that rain and snow is ending in California. And by the way, it's not all snow. They have had a white Christmas in some spots that don't get it that often. Lower elevations, of course, it's rain, and they've had some pretty hefty rainfall amounts. Imperial County, San Diego County, and parts of Arizona, I think around Parker, Arizona. The rain has been heavy enough to cause some flooding problems. So we'll be on the lookout for that as those rains continue tomorrow, especially across Arizona. Snow along the Wasatch to the San Juans should be a little bit lighter to the north than what we'll find down in Southern Cal and in Arizona, probably looking at 3 to 6 inches in parts of Utah and Colorado. But a little fresh snow is certainly fine this time of year as a lot of folks are ready to hit the slopes. All of this is headed to the east, but in the meantime, again, this little area of low pressure will cause the worst of the weather, and even that will be sprinkles around Charleston. Otherwise, basically fair skies under high pressure. Looks good through Monday afternoon. In the northwest, we do have this front kind of hovering just off the coast, and Seattle, unfortunately, it looks like you will have more wet weather. Just like today, a few more showers tomorrow that may extend down to Astoria. The rain is not expected to be particularly heavy. The light green indicates a 1/10 to a 1/2 inch. The heavier rains, as I mentioned, in the southern half of the state of Arizona, southwestern parts of California, and this darker green indicates where it may be over 1 inch of rain. Well, maybe we should say 1 inch of precipitation. That would be in the melted form, but this will be in the form of snow, and we may end up with, well, maybe as much as a foot of snow. So there are your snowfall forecasts for the states in the west. In the east, nothing on the map, no snow expected. It's been a pretty green winter so far. It's been pretty mild, and it stays that way. Lows on Monday morning, not terribly cold, that's for sure. We still have the 50s extending up to about New York City, although it's going to get a little bit cooler in Boston. Remember, that front's coming through. Cleveland, 40s on Monday, but how about 50s as you head home on Tuesday from the holiday weekend. 60s finally return for Atlanta. It's been a little cool, but getting better here. Florida warms up as well. Through about Wednesday, we see a gradual warming trend in the east, and then by Thursday, watch the 20s enter the picture again. And by Friday, well, International Falls after record highs yesterday and today. Looks like you'll be back to normal with afternoon highs on Friday in the teens. Alrighty, who gets the rain and who gets the snow? Well, our main system is still meandering its way across New Mexico come Tuesday. Winter storm watches are in effect. The snow should come in tonight. It's still going Tuesday. Still going on Wednesday, but beginning to taper down at this point. The pink indicates where we may get a little rain and snow or maybe even some ice. That's a little bit still in question. Dallas, definitely some rain for you. Heading on up through St. Louis on Thursday. Chicago to Des Moines might be cold enough for a little ice for you. As this storm system moves into the northeast, the next one enters the picture, follows almost the exact same path. So it looks like Southern California and Arizona, you get a quick break, and then the rain and the snow will be back. Should be a pretty busy week ahead as we see a little bit of ice finally entering the picture again. And winter weather returns to the east. Winter weather has been in place in Europe. We'll show you some of that coming up next.
It's common knowledge that the simple act of petting a dog can make people healthier and happier. It's even been suggested that people who own dogs lead longer, fuller lives. Now, knowing what dogs do for you, wouldn't it be nice to do the same for them? You can, by feeding your dog Iams every day. It's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams dog food, good for life. From the Iams Company.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Now you can get Target Tornado, the Weather Channel's special tornado video for only $19.95. You'll see lots of terrifying tornadoes with rare close-up footage of these unbelievably destructive twisters. You'll also learn about the history of nature's biggest killer tornadoes. You'll see shocking scenes of devastation and hear touching personal stories from survivors of the worst tornado outbreak in history. Plus, you'll see behind the scenes how scientists study these storms and experience the thrill of the chase as Target Tornado rides along in cars with actual storm chasers, searching for monster storms. The Target Tornado video features the most violent storms on Earth, the most destructive, and the most terrifying. This exclusive tornado video can be yours for only $19.95. Call 1-800-829-1717. This is a special limited-time offer. Order now, and you'll also receive a free keyring thermometer. So call 1-800-829-1717 now with your credit card ready.
Years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
All right, what do you say we count it down to another holiday? 7 days till 1995, 6 days till New Year's Eve, 94. And let's take a glance at what we're expecting now down the pike. This is subject to a lot of change, but for now, there are some pretty good hints that things will be changing colder for the upper Midwest and eventually the lakes and as well the Northeast. Take a look, highs barely 40 in the Times Square area for New Year's Eve, probably in the 30s. And then for the day on New Year's Day, Cotton Bowl Parade going on in Dallas looks pretty good. Rose Bowl Parade in Pasadena looks pretty good as well. And all those bowls down in Florida looking better. Tell you what, next weekend has got to be better than this weekend has been down in Florida. All right, here's our forecast. Again, that's for the daytime. Some more showers into the northwest. California, we'll keep our fingers crossed. It has been an active pattern, but it looks like things will be settling down. Again, if you're heading into New York, it's going to be a real sloppy mess up there, we think. Then it looks like on New Year's Day, maybe a few showers in South Florida, but generally okay. Out in the LA Basin area, Pasadena, partly cloudy near 50. That's early in the day for that parade. Cotton Bowl Parade in the morning as well, partly cloudy right around 50. We'll check out a chilly Europe next.
Dick, just weeks from now, we'll be receiving a letter like this with the name of the newest American Family $10 million winner.
You may be the one. Next month's $10 million winner in America's only sweepstakes from us.
You a millionaire 10 times over.
The Weather Channel is proud to be the official sponsor of USA Team Handball, now training for the 1996 Olympics.
Santa, I've had another job offer.
Oh, no. How can we change your mind? How about a raise? Company sled?
Everyone loves Long John Silver's battered fish. Now there's new popcorn fish. Tasty little bite-sized fillets with fries just $1.99.
Maybe if you gave me your popcorn fish.
Keep in touch, kid.
And get a holiday crystal for just 99 cents.
Go fish with Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish.
All right, let's take you quickly over to Europe. And as Bill had mentioned, it's been pretty chilly here. 19 at this hour in Warsaw. Take you to Paris, 27. How about that? London, actually a whole lot warmer today than they were yesterday. They were in the 20s, I think got up to 30 for a high. 48 now. There's a front coming in, so just ahead of it, a quick surge of warm air. And then chances are by tomorrow the same time, temperature will have begun to drop again. So if you're headed over, this is what you can expect. Here comes that next storm. A little bit of rain. It looks like Scotland, Ireland, England will be kind of wet on Monday. You may avoid it in Paris, but chances are you'll have the clouds. This system has been moving very slowly to the east. Leaves Rome alone by Monday, but interior regions, little snow and probably a little bit of ice as well. Down towards the Greek Isles, well, warm enough at least for rain instead of snow. But it is kind of cool. We're looking at 20s, 30s, and 40s with very few 50s or 60s. Athens should get there, 60 degrees for high on Monday with some rain. Cloudy in Brussels. Cloudy, a chance of rain in London, high of 40. Sunshine in Madrid, we'll take it only to the mid-40s. Clouds in Frankfurt and partly cloudy skies expected in Rome. If you head to Paris, cloudy skies, upper 30s expected. Stay tuned, we're going to bring you back to the States and check on our winter storm in the southwest and tell you where it's headed coming up.
As the seasons change, prepare. Watch the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Forecasts and weather conditions for over 600 U.S. cities. 95 cents a minute. Call 1-900-WEATHER before you hit the road.
$250,000 furniture warehouse blowout at Sofa Source. Now through December 31st. Sofa Source, Delaware Valley's largest sofa specialist, must clear their warehouse. A $250,000 inventory of sofas, sleepers, recliners, sectionals, leather chairs, and much more. Must be sold before year end. Save up to 80%. Sofas from $199, chairs from $99, tables from $39, and instant delivery and free financing at Sofa Source. The last and greatest savings event of 1994.
My name is Mark Packman, and I'm a personal injury attorney. Every year, I represent too many people who have been injured in automobile accidents caused by drunk drivers. That's the kind of business I don't want. If you drink too much on New Year's Eve, please don't drive, and if you need a ride home, call 461-7200.
Packman Law Offices, in cooperation with CableAdNet, will pay for the ride to get you home safely. Write this number down, and we'll all have a Happy New Year.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. You're watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and the new one just begun.
A new year is about to begin. What better time to start helping a child who may not make it without you? Please, call this number now. You'll receive complete information about sponsoring a child through Christian Children's Fund. Just 70 cents a day provides a child desperate for your help with food, medical care, schooling, a future.
So this is Christmas, for weak and for strong.
CCF today.
Hi, I'm Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
All right, check out our so-called storm update. We can't even put the tag winter with it, even though it's wintertime. There's really not that much out there, and especially compared to yesteryear. Let's go back. These December outbreaks have been pretty nasty, especially in 80, 83, and 89. I know back in 80, New York City down around 1 below zero. Oddly enough, 2 years later, you had your record high for Christmas. In 1982, you hit 64. 1983, bitter cold air, a lot of teens down as far as central Florida. And 1989, again, another bitter cold air mass, parts of the Midwest, 20 and 30 below zero across parts of Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa. This year, it's slim pickings. We have pretty mild air. This 1 inch may be a little generous. This might have been at midnight last night. It's probably whittled back another 30 miles across the area. And this pattern really not helping much. Fairly dominant high, helping to truck that warmer air northbound. More record highs today, getting into the mid-40s up as far as Marquette, Michigan, lower 40s at International Falls. I think even Portland, Maine tipping the scale up around the mid-50s today, right there on the Atlantic Ocean. Beneath the high, though, still some very stable air, so more fog. It had been very thick in the Kansas City area. Oddly enough, though, you got away from that fog and it got very, very warm. And that has been our trend. November and December have been exceedingly warm back east. Noting our legend here, 6 degrees or better above normal. This is amazing for a whole month. Chicago, New York, down towards Tallahassee, Houston, Texas, with that big trough in the west, helping to grab that cold air and drive it southbound, very cool west of the Continental Divide. And how about December? Not only November, but also December, Chicago, Cleveland, New York, Boston. This is a run of very warm air for, what, about 60 days now? We've had temperatures averaging 6 degrees above normal. But also note how the cold air kind of loosening that grip out in the western states. We continue, though, to find some snow. Not that evident now on our map, but we've had reports today of snowfall as much as a foot of snow falling in the Tehachapies around the Pine Mountain area near Ojai, California. Better news today farther up the Sierra, but you had your damage yesterday. Strawberry, California, beautiful for the Christmas Eve. Strawberry, by the way, a little bit above the Yosemite National Park. And once again, chain laws in effect yesterday, but better news today. If you are traveling north of Los Angeles, though, heading up into the foothills around the San Bernardino Mountains, be wary of the snowfall. And that may be your best modus operandi, getting around the sleigh. Pretty nice today. Pretty good snowfall, too. Above 4,000 feet in Southern California. We're expecting as much as 8 to 10 inches of snow before it's all said and done. Rainfall in the valley area is pretty impressive. Bakersfield, California, the southern San Joaquin picking up an inch of rainfall. Look at Las Vegas, 0.6 of an inch of rain. We've had flood watches into the Clark County area, including Las Vegas, for all of today. They go, by the way, until 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Again, our snows primarily out west, and they could be heavy. The rim country of Arizona, the colder air starting to work on in now, so heavy snow warnings out for later on today and tonight, anywhere above around 7,000 feet. Then it drops down to 6,000 feet tonight. Somebody here around Flagstaff or the north rim of the Grand Canyon may see as much as a foot of snowfall. All right, the quiet air continues, quiet, stable air, that is, around Kansas City and St. Louis, so watch out for the fog in the morning, hopefully improving quicker tomorrow than today, as everybody, I think, is going to make that mad dash for the malls. Meanwhile, the southwest, this pattern is not going to make a mad dash anywhere. It's going to sit and stall, kind of dawdle. So more snows likely above Albuquerque. The Sandia Peaks ought to do pretty well. Stubborn little low off the Carolinas may keep a few showers from Wilmington down to about Savannah, Georgia. The big news, though, the snow lifting up into Colorado. And believe me, you could use some snowfall. It should be very welcome by tomorrow afternoon. California, a few more showers, a couple of storms may rumble in. Snowfall heaviest, as we mentioned, out west. Cool air for the northeast, colder than it has been, but still a fairly balmy day on Monday. We'll check out travel weather next.
So a prize number worth millions of dollars arrives in somebody's mail.
Yes, and as soon as the number's returned,
you award the $10 million for American Family.
That's the easy part. First, we've got to get the winner to return the number.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
And in 3, 2, 1.
Ed and I urge you to enter the sweepstakes with our picture this week. $10 million can be yours this fast.
Please get that number back to us, and I'll say you're a millionaire.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Your region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Hi, I'm Christopher Reeve. If you're looking for adventure, unusual people, spectacular live events, or maybe a once-in-a-lifetime Earth journey that's good for the environment, and of course you want it 24 hours a day, well, you can find all that and more only on the Travel Channel. And if your cable system doesn't carry the Travel Channel, you should just put down that remote, pick up your phone, and tell your cable operator that you want the Travel Channel.
It's time to hit the slopes for the fun, for the prizes, for the gold. It's Tour de Ski, the exciting Just for Fun ski racing series sponsored by the Weather Channel. Anyone can race, all ages, all sizes, any level, from novice to pro. You can even win a pair of head skis just for participating. It's a good time for the entire family, so do it for the fun, do it for the prizes, do it for the gold. The next Tour de Ski will be held at this great resort. And keep watching the Weather Channel for upcoming Tour de Ski events.
Taster's Choice is also proud to be a sponsor of the Tour de Ski.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
If your travel plans take you to the west, well, this is where you're going to run into problems. Light snow to the north in parts of Idaho, Interstate 80 through Nevada shouldn't be too bad. But now if you get into Southern California and Arizona, now here's where you run into the heavier precipitation. Some of it is snow. We have heavy snow warnings in effect now for the mountains of Southern California and for the Mogollon Rim, the White Mountains in Arizona. But in the lower elevations, they've actually had a fair amount of rain and some minor flooding problems, at least to this point. So pretty treacherous out here, especially down south. Let's take a quick look at a radar. We'll show you what's going on around Phoenix. Good soaking. On Friday, you had about an inch of rain. Yesterday, a break. Today, rain. By the way, more tomorrow. Some of this rain, of course, around Los Angeles. Big Bear, 6 inches of snow on the ground as of this morning. Don't have an afternoon total, but they probably got another, well, maybe another 6 inches by this afternoon. So plenty of snow out there. Yes, it's all in the west, and that's where it will stay. The east, you'll need to wait several more days before we expect to see any kind of winter precipitation. And when it comes back, chances are we're going to be talking about a little bit of ice. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Rain, of course, throughout the southwest. No problems with thunderstorms, although there may be a couple in California.
Tony Gregory, Cincinnati, Ohio, 83,000 miles. Sandy Carlton, Acworth, Georgia, 98,000 miles. Jim Bobbitt, Broomall, Pennsylvania, 110,000 miles. We can't promise you the very same mileage these Michelin owners got. But we can promise you this, the very same peace of mind. Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Current regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Happy holiday to everybody. Bill Keneely with you, and we continue to look at not much of a white Christmas, Declan, but the folks in Kansas City might argue their cause as it's very white all around. In this case, it's a very foggy night.
That's right. We've had fog, in fact, persistent fog over the plains for the last couple of days. But first, what would Christmas be without snow? Well, here's some to make your holiday complete. We take you west. This picturesque scene is from the town of Strawberry, California, in the Sierra. Snow in the Sierras has ended. In fact, 8 to 10 inches has accumulated in many ski areas. Snow has shifted south through the Golden State into the mountains of southern Nevada. So, folks, there are some white spots this Christmas thanks to the snow in Southern California. The snow has been coming down very hard this afternoon. There's a look at your satellite picture, and you can see this storm system as it continues to swirl over the Southland this afternoon. Heavy snow in the mountains east of San Diego. The storm continues to drift towards the southeast this afternoon. Still getting some splotches of rain showers. It's still not out of the question that an isolated thunder shower may occur as we head through the second half of the day. And the rain is picking up in Maricopa County, Phoenix. Showers and thunderstorms are likely from this particular storm. It's a pretty loaded storm in terms of its moisture content. We're still getting these wraparound showers. This is the north edge of the storm's circulation, so everything is generally pushing off towards the southwest now. And again, as that storm center drops farther to the south, we'll notice a decrease in the amount of rain, but it's still going to be rather breezy throughout the entire night. More showers and thunderstorms. We've had reports of some local flooding as you head out into extreme western Arizona along the California state line, where anywhere from a half to almost 3/4 of an inch of rain has occurred, especially around the town of Parker. Some local flooding. There's your storm in the southwest part of the country. Pesky fog over parts of eastern Kansas, and even on the visible satellite view you can see that layer of fog and low cloud cover over eastern Kansas. Now what's going on? Well, if we take a look at a kind of an explanation here for you, you can see what's happening. We have warm air on top of cold air, kind of an inversion of what we normally find. Typically the temperature falls as you go up into the atmosphere, but on this particular type of weather pattern, the warm air is capping this layer of moisture in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. Light winds. There's not much to stir this thing up and kick it out of here. It's like pea soup. Low sun angle also at this time of the year, so the pattern just persists.
Well, dense fog has been a problem over the nation's midsection. However, most of us have had to deal with fog at one time or another. Now, Dennis Smith explains what causes fog.
Fog can cause havoc on the roads and in the air. Travel becomes a nightmare as visibility is reduced. Fog is basically a cloud on the ground. The most common type is radiation or ground fog. This forms when humid air is cooled to its dew point, causing water vapor to begin condensing into tiny drops. On clear, still nights, heat radiates away from the ground, cooling the ground and the air next to it. Heavier cold air flows into low places. Fog forms as the air cools to its dew point. Fog is normally less than a couple of 100 feet deep. When the sun rises, the heat burns off the fog as the temperature rises above the dew point. Dennis Smith, the Weather Channel.
And just a reminder, the Battle of the Bulge will be coming up as we head into this week. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes. Here's a look at the current weather map. We mentioned the fog, persistent fog over East Kansas. Weak cold front sliding towards northern New England tonight. Now, it has some colder air behind it, not a whole bunch. You still have to go pretty far north, actually up towards Hudson's Bay, before you catch some of the significantly colder air. Current readings in the 40s as far south as Memphis. A very mild day around Atlanta. Heading south to the Gulf Coast, current readings are in the 50s now, and just a tad cool around central and southern Florida. We had highs today in Miami, mid to upper 60s, so that's a little bit cooler than your normal high of about 75 degrees. There's a look at your cold front, a little closer detail here as it slides towards northern sections of Maine. Again, that'll bring in somewhat cooler air for the start of the week. And we also have that storm system, which is pretty far off the coast. Quick radar over the east, and you notice things are quiet until we get to the southern Appalachians. Some fast-moving sprinkles or light showers tracking towards the southwest. They're heading across northern Georgia this hour at about 10 to 15 miles per hour.
Things indeed are quiet now in the east after a rough week due to storms coming in off of the Atlantic. Now we look back to the big events last week and Weather Rewind.
Weather Rewind, a look back at the past week's weather.
The week before Christmas started with a big Pacific coastal storm, bringing floodwaters to Washington state. Some areas of Seattle had to be evacuated. San Francisco also saw heavy surf with 15 to 18-foot swells reported. This storm system remained in the Pacific Northwest, where it would die out in the next few days. But in the central states, a low-pressure system brought rain and thick fog to the area. Minneapolis saw the most fog, delaying motorists and airlines throughout the day. During midweek, in addition to the low over the central U.S., a storm developed near Florida. Rain and wind plagued the Sunshine State. In Miami, a dramatic rescue took place as a man was swept into the water while trying to tie up his boat. That storm moved out over the Atlantic. The surf at the Outer Banks in North Carolina began to pick up, just a sign of things to come. By Friday, two powerful East Coast storms were on the weather map. The more southern one lashed the beaches with wind and surf and brought flooding rains to South Carolina. And farther north, another storm brought dangerous wind gusts to southern New England. Coastal residents in Massachusetts dealt with heavy surf as well as downed trees and power outages. For Weather Rewind, I'm Declan Cannon.
Again, all next week, we have a 5-parter here at the Weather Channel. We have more on the Battle of the Bulge. You can find out what affected one of America's costliest battles 50 years ago. Again, the Battle of the Bulge. It's a 5-part series which airs tomorrow right on through Friday. And believe me, weather had a major impact on that battle. All right, let's check it out now. Well, Brussels is kind of cold. That's where the battle was fought. But back east, we've had a decent day over the lower 48 for this holiday. Very mild air. Records toppling again today at International Falls and Marquette, Michigan, both getting into the low and middle 40s. Enjoy that relative balminess if you like that sort of thing, because things will be changing more towards the norm as we get towards the tail end of the week. Snows into Utah today. Snow advisory up in the southern mountains. Snow's getting into Colorado tonight. And really pretty good news. A lot of your recent storms have bypassed you, passing to your south. But there should be ample opportunity to get good snow Monday and again on Tuesday. Back east, a fairly quiet day, maybe a little too quiet. Beneath that high, more fog in the forecast, at least over the morning hours around Kansas City. Maybe we'll get more of a southwest wind by afternoon, and that should hopefully alleviate things. Back east, pretty quiet, stubborn, pesky, call it what you will, low pressure off the Carolina coast may keep it a little cloudy and bring some intermittent showers to the immediate shoreline, say around Wilmington or Myrtle Beach. Heavier rain today and tonight, Phoenix area. Phoenix could see half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain. It has been a very wet 3-day period. The rim country of Arizona, including Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon, could see 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. And again, the snow is getting into southwestern Colorado. For the overnight into the day on Monday, we started out very mild yet again, heading out to the malls out by the King of Prussia Mall in Philly. Highs back into the lower 50s. Tuesday and Wednesday, still relatively balmy for this time of the year. Florida recovering a bit. You need it. You've had a rough time of it lately. But it looks like Thursday and Friday, not a bad period. 70s may edge their way all the way to southern Georgia. But there's your cold air back in the picture. Tuesday, our low still kind of hanging out, not going anywhere. It's been milling about now for about 3 days. That'll begin to kick on out. And as it does, it's going to run into a colder regime of air. So as we get into the Midwest on Thursday, then probably more likely on into Friday, a cold air bank up there in the northeast. So New York and Pennsylvania have to watch out. And Declan, right now we're okay. The first holiday we've gotten by without a hitch so far.
I know, it's incredible that we've had this lack of cold air with all these storms coming out of the Rockies.
Yeah, incredible, but better news coming down the pike for the ski areas in the east. We'll detail it next.
50 years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
Hi, I'm Tiki Booth Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Good visibility is essential to driving safety, especially during wet and hazardous weather. Unless you can see where you're driving, you're an accident just waiting to happen. That's why you should be using Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper. It disperses rain, sleet, and snow, mud, bugs, and grime on contact. Now that's performance. Clearly, Rain-X makes the difference between seeing and not seeing what's ahead. For safety's sake, go out and get your Rain-X today.
Look for Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper, at all fine automotive departments near you.
All right, let's take a look at the ski conditions over the Northeast. Some help's on the way. We have a colder, drier air mass, which will move into northern New England by this time tomorrow. Sunday, River, Maine, no new snow, but a 27 to 49-inch base with wet conditions as of early this afternoon, and 92 trails open for skiing at Killington in Vermont. At Boyne Mountain, Michigan, groomed conditions reported as of early this afternoon. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Tuesday's weather map features a few clouds, some light precipitation coming in. That's an upper disturbance moving in from Canada, so maybe just enough cold air to give us some snowflakes. As we get into midweek, a bit of snow downwind of the lakes, but generally fair weather is going to hold for most of the week. Not until probably Friday that we start to deal with the effects from this particular storm, which should track northeastward towards the Ohio Valley. So we'll have some colder, some drier air moving into the northeast, and that should allow for additional snowmaking.
Join the Weather Channel for this year's Tour de Ski. Call 1-800-525-2257 for accommodations and call Christie Sports at 303-949-0151 to register.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
$250,000 furniture warehouse blowout at Sofa Source. Now through December 31st. Sofa Source, Delaware Valley's largest sofa specialist, must clear their warehouse. A $250,000 inventory of sofas, sleepers, recliners, sectionals, leather chairs, and much more. Must be sold before year end. Save up to 80%. Sofas from $199, chairs from $99, tables from $39, and instant delivery and free financing at Sofa Source. The last and greatest savings event of 1994.
It happened so fast. I was sure the pickup could stop before it hit us. Oh, we settled with the insurance company for repairs and medical bills. But Helen still doesn't feel right. Says she can't go back to work, and we can't do without that income. At the time, I didn't think about calling a lawyer. Big mistake.
At Packman Law Office, there is no fee for initial consultation, and you won't pay a dime until your case is settled.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
It's wintertime, and there's a snowstorm in the forecast. But you have places to go. Driving in a snowstorm is a tough job for anyone. You have the responsibility of your automobile, and above all else, you are responsible for your passengers. It's a relief to know that the snow fighters are out there, working for your safety. Salt saves lives.
Axo Nobel Salt Incorporated, the leading producer of de-icing salt. Salt saves lives.
We're about to change the pattern somewhat. We're not sure if it's a long-term change, but we do think there's going to be a progressive return to wintertime weather in the Twin Cities area and eventually in Milwaukee and Detroit as we evolve from Tuesday into Friday. Already on Wednesday now, still cooler, 30s up around the Twin Cities area. Still, though, that warm air going out with a rather tenacious fight. Up near 60 in Lexington, Kentucky, and near 60 in Salisbury, Maryland. Enjoy that. Thursday and Friday, though, here comes that cooler air sliding on in. But even here, in actuality, temperatures probably at normal, maybe a little bit below if you look down towards, say, Kansas City and maybe down into the Wichita area. Mild air, though, returning. Better news in Florida and a little drier in California as well. Tuesday, a little rain and snow up off of Lake Ontario. The big news, our low, which has been kind of hanging out here, it's been just dawdling. It's going to begin to pull on out, and with it, it's going to bring a shield of cold rain, Dallas, Little Rock, and Tulsa. And as it runs into the colder air now, it looks like it's going to cause some headaches on I-80, a little snow and maybe freezing rain, Chicago and Des Moines. And that'll work in Friday night and Saturday to New England.
The biggest weather problems this week will be in the west, where a storm heading eastward will bring rain, snow, and sleet to some areas. Check the 5-day forecast before you hit the road.
Have you noticed that sunflowers are standing a bit taller lately? It's because they're the secret to the great taste in new Sun Cruncher cereal. Sun Crunchers, the only cereal bursting with crunchy bits of toasted sunflower seeds. Wrapped around hearty flakes of wheat and corn, all lightly sweetened for that Sun Cruncher taste everybody's gonna love. New Sun Crunchers. Taste the sensation.
The Weather Channel is proud to be the official sponsor of USA Team Handball, now training for the 1996 Olympics.
The high cost of health care, everyone has a part in keeping it down. So we took what you like about Walmart and what you want in a pharmacy and put it right inside your Walmart store. The result?
Walmart's pharmacy department.
With professional service and the low price on every prescription.
So next time, bring it here.
Or ask your doctor to call.
Walmart's pharmacy department. Your full-service pharmacy right inside Walmart. Always low prices, always Walmart.
Let's take a look at the traveling conditions nationwide. National radar picks out some of the rain and snow in Southern California and Arizona. We've had some spotty light rain showers pushing through the north sections of Georgia, and the rain is picking up in western Washington. New system moving on shore. There is going to be a lot of rain along the coast, so people traveling along the coast tonight and tomorrow morning are going to run into some problems. As far as the precipitation is concerned, it'll be quite heavy. And we're also getting heavy rain in western Arizona, and the snow continues to fall up in the high elevations in Southern California, above 4,000 feet. No strong or severe thunderstorms expected. Now, the snow hasn't really materialized too much today in Arizona. Snow level above 7,000 feet, but as the storm's center, which is now in Southern California, drifts a little farther southeast late tonight and tomorrow, the snow will return to the rim, and that'll continue through a good part of Monday. Big fog, a problem in the plains. We have warm air on top of cold air, an inversion in the atmosphere, we call it, and with that in mind, and with also the fact that it's not going to break, more dense fog returns. It never really left the airport north of town in Kansas City today. Latest visibility, 1/16 of a mile. In fact, let's check the next 5 days for you now, see how that fog pattern will break. High pressure over the midsection of the country through tomorrow, so pretty much the same forecast. We just can't seem to get enough mixing in the atmosphere to get the fog layer out. This storm is going to intensify but move out to sea, while the southwestern storm will slowly drift to the southeast, and we're going to see some heavy snow in the mountains of Arizona eventually. Snow will get into the mountains of New Mexico, and then the heaviest rain will start shifting a little farther east tomorrow. It'll move out of Southern California and the deserts where we've had some heavy rain today, and western Arizona, and that band of rain, heaviest rain, will shift on over to New Mexico, southeast Arizona, and eventually into West Texas. This is going to be our main storm this week. Now, there's going to be more rain for the Pacific Northwest coast as that front arrives, but this will be the main storm. We'll watch it as it treks across the the lower plains or the southern plains and then starts heading northeast into the Ohio Valley. Nothing terribly chilly tonight. Teens and 20s over northern and central New England. Some 50s showing up in the valley floors in the southwest with the clouds and the rain. 50s and 60s both tomorrow and Tuesday. In fact, if anything, we're going to try to push that area of 50-degree readings as far north as Peoria, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and on over into Findlay, Columbus, and Dayton, Ohio on Tuesday afternoon. Stays that way on Wednesday before the cool-off starts for the second half of the week. And should be much cooler, actually, by Friday over northern Minnesota. Highs in the teens around Bemidji and Duluth. Also some teens and 20s showing up in northern New Hampshire. Here's the storm, the way we'd see it happening. Now, it'll probably move very slowly for the next 2 days as it comes from southern California into western Texas. It'll be a slow process here. As that storm is moving away, heading towards the east, another batch of rain is sliding into coastal California. A couple of rain or snow showers in the northeast. Not heavy, not a major storm, just a disturbance in the upper levels. And then here's your main storm. Comes out into Texas. Right now, this storm is indicating that perhaps it will produce heavy rain in Texas as it comes out of the Rockies. We should see a quick return of the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. So that should load this thing up as it heads through the Lone Star State and then starts to move towards the northeast. Now, while this is happening, we think some colder, some drier air will be gradually filtering into the northeast, the mid-Atlantic, even parts of the southern Appalachians. So when this storm starts to move out to the northeast, this may be the first significant chance we've had of actually getting some freezing precipitation on the leading edge of this system as it moves out. All depends on the timing, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it for you. A couple of scattered snow showers as you head up towards Duluth, International Falls, and working on back towards Grand Forks in North Dakota Thursday. And as soon as this thing moves into the northeast and the Ohio Valley, we have yet a new system taking its place. That one will drop through southern California by the end of the week. Head into West Texas, could see some frozen precipitation around the Permian Basin and parts of the hill country by the end of the week. So stormy weather as we head into the new week. One storm coming out of the Rockies heading into the Ohio Valley, and a new one will take its place.
Congratulations, you've just won $10 million.
That's perfect, Dick. You're set, I'm set. Now all we need is the new winner.
Listen, you don't have much time to enter the sweepstakes with our picture.
Because there's going to be a new $10 million winner this soon.
You know, an apple sitting around too long, it goes bad. It's the same thing with a new battery. It loses power waiting to be bought. That's why at Interstate, we're constantly checking our batteries to make sure they're fresh, so that you don't end up with a bad apple.
Getting your kids ready for school can be difficult. Deciding what they should wear can be even more difficult if you miss the school day forecast on the Weather Channel. You'll find out the conditions for the morning drive or for the wait at the bus stop. This forecast can help you decide what type of clothing your child needs to keep them protected each school day. So don't prepare them for the world without preparing them for the weather. Watch the school day forecast weekday mornings 35 minutes after the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Radar at this hour, a couple of rather minuscule showers trying to hold together coming out of the North Georgia mountains, but they are dying out as the air is very dry. Relative humidity values in the Atlanta area running at about 35–40% today, so they're not holding together well. Now, offshore Boston, offshore the Cape, getting some rainfall, thankfully drying out after a 5-inch rain event up there by Cape Ann near Gloucester over the past 48 hours. That nasty low is finally out of the picture. It's taking on into the northwest. We have another nasty cold front approaching. It's a warm front coming through now, but then there's a cold front behind it that'll swing on through later on tomorrow. Pretty good chunk of rain now from Olympia, right up the Hood Canal, up to near Sequim, and over there by the San Juan Islands. That's all working northeast at about 25 miles an hour. More rains into the LA basin, more rain around the Sky Harbor Airport near Phoenix, Arizona today. We've even had some flooding rainfall, about 3/4 of an inch of rainfall out at the airport of Las Vegas. All right, let's zoom it in for you now. First of all, looking at the LA basin area, that rainfall is actually moving on generally off towards the south-southwest. Quite a bit of light rain now in Orange County, heading out towards the Catalina Island area. The rain in Phoenix now starting to pick up, turns over to snow up near Flagstaff, so if you are traveling north on 17, drive carefully.
They don't play kick the can like you used to. They don't dress the same way. So why are you taking their pictures with the same old film? Try Fujicolor Super G. Because pictures should be nostalgic. Film shouldn't.
When Jeffrey catches a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
He recommends Dimetap Elixir. Jeffrey really likes the grape taste.
Alcohol-free Dimetap, the brand pediatricians recommend most for colds.
Years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Current regional conditions. Local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
A southwest storm heads eastward toward Texas. When will it hit the area and what will it bring? Stay tuned to the Weather Channel for the latest.
Hey, good evening. Bill Keneely with you alongside Declan Cannon. Want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And your holiday week right now looking okay for the time being, but the latter stage of the week may pose some headaches for travel over the Midwest and parts of the Northeast. We'll get to that in a minute. First of all, let's check out weather history on this date, actually the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We've had some pretty nasty outbreaks of cold air. In 1983 rather, and also 89, some bitter cold air over a lot of the eastern states. The one in 1980 bringing temperatures below zero to Boston. 83 bringing temperatures to zero exactly in the Atlanta area, and 1989, bitter cold air over the upper Midwest. Some areas were 20 and 30 below zero Fahrenheit. All right, this year, November and December for that matter, very mild. Chicago, you can live up with that, or live with that, I'd say. Pittsburgh, put up with that. New York City, very mild as well. December, not much in the way of a change. The big dominant high keeps deflecting the cold air way up into Canada and beneath the high, very balmy conditions. Now, the trough, which brought very cool air to November to California, is now starting to loosen its grip, so maybe we are starting to see a breakdown in that pattern that had been established. For the time being, though, it's still very warm where the sun is out. Where the fog is still around, it's kind of cool, very clammy. Kansas City area, take it easy driving tonight. Visibility, which had improved a little bit, now starting to diminish yet again, getting down near zero at the KC International Airport. So the metro area on 435 will be very, very tough sledding tonight. 50s, however, balmy up into southeastern Montana, balmy up into New York. We even had a high of 53 as far up as Portland in Maine. That was a record high for the date. And you can see the 50s down into Florida, so fairly cool here, but still way above normal as you move way on up the seaboard. More changes out west. We have a lot of rain falling out here. The quieter pattern very welcome back east after enduring winds of near hurricane force yesterday morning and the night before that around the Boston area. Things are now settling down. We had a wind peak at around 99 miles per hour at the Westport Harbor. That was down along the ocean down there by Horseneck Beach near the Rhode Island border. But thankfully, even though it's breezy today, things are quieting down, and it's also drying out. Boston, you had 2 inches of rain. Gloucester, you had nearly 5 inches. And really, any rain back east, a rather piddly display of rainfall. A little more in the way of fog, still very thick. And with that high set up where it is, look for that fog to really thicken up yet again tonight from Kansas City all the way over to, say, Peoria in Illinois. Rainfall coming in out west. That is with a warm front, and then there's a cold front behind it that'll come on in. So look for it to be rather soggy in Portland and Seattle next couple of days. And still the rainfall into California, now edging into the Phoenix area. The rain has really picked up in the past hour. Satellite radar overlay showing that rainfall rather nicely now moving across Maricopa County. Snow has been a little delayed in its arrival, but we think it will arrive, and it will be rather heavy tonight up around the Humphreys Peak area, up there near Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon in general. Somebody may see a foot of snow out of this, and it's not going to go away. Monday and Tuesday, it looks like some pretty good snow is likely in the Four Corners area, and some welcome snow coming into Colorado. California, the rain has not been very welcome. To show you the radar overlay now, we can find the rainfall in the LA basin actually moving on southwestward. The rainfall in the Phoenix area lifting northbound, suggesting a low pressure area right there on the border of California and Mexico. Again, the rainfall pulling through Riverside, California, had about a ½ inch of rainfall. There's about 4 inches of snow on top of Mount Wilson, and the LA area generally about a ½ to 3/4 of an inch of rain. The rain pretty light now down around Dana Point and Santa Ana. It's all heading on southwest at about 20 miles an hour. Rainfall really picking up now around Scottsdale and in the Phoenix area, and northbound up towards the Oak Creek Canyon near Sedona. That rain's going to lift on north and then turn over to snow tonight in the Flagstaff area. Let's take you back east. Beneath that high, still very stable air. Satellite picture bears it out. A lot of fog in the metro Kansas City area. Heading west out of St. Louis on 70. You may want to think twice about it, as it will be rather thick. Radar still showing scattered areas of rainfall, but they are very light back over the areas north of Atlanta. And again, our low pressure has finally given way and it's pulled out, so things improving back east. Let's show you the forecast for the next few days now. Tuesday on into Friday, recovery finally, Ocala, Florida, cracking 70. Wednesday, still pretty warm, 50 near Cleveland, Ohio. Thursday and Friday, though, watch the change as we evolve to colder air. 20s for a high back in Waterloo in Iowa. So if we can hang on a couple more days, we may hold on to that snowpack. It's going to be kind of touch and go. Little rain and snow, Buffalo and Rochester on Tuesday. This next system bears watching, coming out now into Wichita, then eventually to Chicago, then eventually into the Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre and New York and New England area Friday night and Saturday. So if you're heading to Times Square, you may want to factor that in. We'll check out the weather and your health next.
The man on the right has an American Dream vent-free gas fireplace from Temco. The man on the left has a problem. The man on the right knows his American Dream vent-free fireplace saves him money on energy bills. The man on the left has a problem. The man on the right enjoys the glowing embers, 3 heat settings, and location flexibility. The man on the left has a big problem. So when you look at the American Dream, wouldn't you rather make the right choice?
For the name of the authorized Timco dealer nearest you, call 1-800-762-9997.
50 years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Just a whistle stop from Cincinnati. There's a place you can still hear the clickety-clack of the old Wabash cannonball. Or catch the golden arrow to Calais, all in the same room. It's the Garden Railway Company, a favorite destination for train buffs the world over. But if you go, bring your love of the steel wheels and your Visa card. Because at Garden Railway, you can buy the Orient Express. But you can't buy anything with American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Red Lobster presents our lobster and shrimp feast. Shrimp cocktail, a luscious lobster tail, lobster and shrimp over pasta, and golden fried shrimp, together for a short time at Red Lobster.
50 years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
This Weather and Your Health is sponsored by Triaminic. Just tell us where it hurts. Well, unfortunately, we're heading into the thick or the heart of the flu season. We now have several states, New York, Connecticut, and Kentucky, reporting a regional outbreak of the flu. A lot more folks are starting to check in to the local doctor's office. Also, a lot of absenteeism being reported at the local school. So things are getting a little bit worse, although so far it hasn't been all that bad nationwide. Pain index, if you have arthritis or rheumatism because of some cool, moist air down in the low levels of the atmosphere, uncomfortable for you across parts of the Midwest, certainly in the Southwest with that developing storm, and across the Pacific Northwestern coast. Respiratory distress, parts of New Mexico and Colorado susceptible to above normal levels of respiratory distress as we head into the new week. No air stagnation, although that fog is going to be rather thick once again tonight. Not much change, in fact, in the upper 20s around Paris today. We'll tell you why coming up.
If your child's cold doesn't slow him down, his cold medicine sure could. So we created non-drowsy Triaminic AM, dye-free cough and cold relief that won't slow kids down. New Triaminic AM, relief without drowsiness.
Look for Triaminic at your local pharmacy.
Be sure to watch your mail this week for the sweepstakes from Ed and me.
You may be holding the winning entry that's going to take the $10 million prize in just weeks.
Imagine millions of dollars to spend and enjoy.
Starting next month.
As the seasons change, prepare. Watch the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Looking for a little excitement? Exotic places. Spectacular live events. Or to sail away to a tropical paradise. And you want it 24 hours a day? I'm Susan Anton. You can find all of that and more on the Travel Channel. What? Your cable system doesn't carry the Travel Channel? Well, then put down that remote and pick up the phone. Tell your cable operator that you want the Travel Channel.
Kind of a cool, clammy, kind of a raw day for a lot of Europe. We have a big old high pressure area helping to pump the jet stream northbound, then it kind of dives on down. A low kind of caught in the bottom of that trough down around the Mediterranean. In between, high pressure is built in, but the air is very stable. Kind of like what we have in Kansas City today. We're not getting the mixing, that inversion layer, warm air aloft, cold air at the surface, cold dense air. And if it's not turning over, temperatures are not going to warm up much, and it's been kind of nasty. 27 in Paris. As Declan mentioned, you've held pretty much in the upper 20s all day. 19 in Warsaw, 39 in Rome, Italy. Check this out. The high that's been over the area now is going to start to slide southward as our jet stream begins to dive the next front down. So around, say, the cliffs of Dover to Normandy, over to Brussels, some rain coming in. Finally, that low, it looks like it may pinch out a little bit, pull out of the Aegean Sea before too long. Still some cold air in Moscow, but even here, the 20s, not that bad for this time of the year. Athens, a lot of cloud cover, mid-50s, rain in Brussels, rain in London, chilly day in Frankfurt, windy, high near 40, and rain and windy in Paris, temperatures in the mid-40s, but thankfully we should kick that fog on out of the picture. Winter weather update with Dave Schwartz talking about heavy rain for Phoenix.
Hi, I'm Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Current conditions, extended forecasts, travel information for over 225 international cities. Call next.
There's nothing like the warmth of a fireplace, and there's no better place to find it than Great Fireplaces. Choose from a great selection of accessories, as well as ventless gas fireplaces that are both clean burning and energy efficient, and affordable pellet stoves with an automatic feed system for continuous warmth all year around. Great service, great selection, great fireplaces. Just off I-95 and Route 322 in Trainer. Call 494-2021 and warm up by your new fireplace today.
Paladin Club, Wilmington's answer to the housing blahs, overlooks downtown Wilmington from a country-like wooded setting. Brick facades, large decks, professional landscaping in a setting lush with large mature trees, which you can enjoy from oversized balconies and patios. Sheltered doorways, stained masonry, fireplaces, spacious rooms, and ample closets combine to make life at Paladin Club truly gracious and enjoyed.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
If you're about to travel, watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel.
Quicken has changed my life. It's changed my relationship with my wife.
How would your life improve with Quicken? Listen, then find out how you can try the world's #1 finance software for just $9.95.
Before Quicken, it was pain. After Quicken, 3 words. That's control, organization, and power.
In our relationship, there's a better sense of trust. And the trust is that even though I'm the greatest spender of money, I'm also the person who knows where every penny goes.
It relieves stress for me because I'm organized.
And the more organized I am, the better I can make decisions. The better I can make decisions, the better I feel.
Now it's your turn. Find out how good it feels to let Quicken, the world's #1 finance software, painlessly organize your finances. You can try it for only $9.95. Yes, only $9.95 to try Quicken. Call now.
1-800-624-5233.
Hi, Alex. Oh, nice cold. Oh, the pressure. Even my sinuses hurt. Comes with the territory. You know, when you have a cold, it isn't always just up here. Sinuses can get congested, too. Well, that's why there's Advil Cold and Sinus. Doctors like its ingredients. One for aches, fever, sore throat pain. Another for sinus congestion. It's all connected.
Advil Cold and Sinus. Advanced formula for the cold season.
Hi, I'm Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
I'll do it. Good to see you, my friend. It's 12 minutes now before the hour on Christmas Day. Now, this normally a time for some Arctic outbreaks. In the central and eastern United States, they occurred in those years. Cold weather records set, but not this year. No way. Look at your current temperatures. 43 here at the nation's Icebox International Falls. A record high was set today. 50 in Boston, even with the wind and clouds. 52 in Atlanta, 55 Oklahoma City. Kind of cool here in Florida, but I'll tell you what, by and large, the country has been winter-free this winter, this first week of winter. Look at that. We got a couple of kind of slushy, gray-looking inches of snow, yucky out there on the shoulders of the roads, refreezing at night with the fog, that kind of nasty weather here in the North Country. But all the wintry weather today, if you call snow wintry weather, would have to be here in the Southwest. That's where temperatures are cool. It's cloudy in Phoenix. And I'll tell you, we've been in this kind of a pattern for the last couple of months. In November, look at this. Departure from average temperature, taking the high and the low and averaging them out every day. Look at this. The oranges and reds indicate where we've been anywhere from 2 to 5 or even more degrees above normal. Front range of the Rockies, eastward. What a very quiet time we've had in Denver, Colorado, for example. December winds up the same way. We're highs in the 50s and 60s along the front range of the Rockies. Where did we see a white Christmas today? Well, how about Flagstaff, Arizona? We'll have video from northern Arizona here in just a minute. But tonight, the story is rain. Well, actually, the last couple of days here. Bakersfield, California with record rains. We need the rain here. We really need the rain. This is wet season in the Southwest. And up in the high country, the story, snow. Up in the Mogollon Rim, the White Mountains of east central Arizona. Lots of folks from Phoenix and Tucson head up here. A perfect weekend, a little Christmas weekend skiing, and Mother Nature has cooperated. Here's what it looks like on radar right now out of the Grand Canyon State. Moisture surging northward along the interstate between Tucson and Phoenix. There could be some local flooding here, downtown Phoenix, Arizona, later on. Tempe up towards Sun City and Wickenburg. And as the moisture flows into the mountains, the snow comes down. Where is this storm headed as you and I head back to work? Well, let's check on the northeast first. Here, we've gotten rid of the rain. Low pressure spinning itself offshore. Northwesterly flow continues. It'll be another breezy day in Boston. Cooler than today, but 45 degrees, still running above normal. But this could change by the end of the week. Things could get very interesting here in Boston by Saturday and Sunday, New Year's Eve. 38 in Atlanta, 40 in Raleigh. A chilly one again here in Miami. We were 52 this morning. Daytime high temperature 70. A warming trend is on tap for the Sunshine State. We could be nudging the 80-degree mark by Wednesday or Thursday. 57, not bad in Dallas, but gosh, head up the Will Rogers Turnpike in Oklahoma or the Kansas Turnpike, and we're going to have problems here again. Dense fog, Interstate 70 to St. Louis, Chicago, the Indiana Toll Road. Watch out, there could be some big-time travel problems. And the only travel problem here, once again, in the desert. You saw the rain, mountain snows, quiet here in San Francisco, and pretty quiet for the rest of us. Another mild day here in Denver, Colorado. We'll check those highways. Weather next.
In parts of the country, people driving by car could find the conditions a little dangerous. Wet roads and congestion could complicate things on the highway. Stay with the Weather Channel for the details.
The folks who warm the cockles of our hearts and all our body parts with the introduction of a powerful but safe tiny ceramic heater are now pleased to present the new generation of tiny, powerful, safe heaters, lifetime disc furnaces, guaranteed to take the chill out of your life.
Lifetime heaters may be purchased at participating Ace, True Value, Service Star, and HWI hardware stores.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
If your child's cold doesn't slow him down, his cold medicine sure could. So we created non-drowsy Triaminic AM, dye-free cough and cold relief that won't slow kids down. New Triaminic AM, relief without drowsiness.
Look for Trimedic at your local pharmacy.
Years ago, GIs were fighting America's costliest battle. Find out about the weather's impact. Battle of the Bulge, forecast for victory, December 26th through the 30th on the Weather Channel.
Looking for a little excitement? Exotic places. Spectacular live events. Or to sail away to a tropical paradise. And you want it 24 hours a day? I'm Susan Anton. You can find all of that and more on the Travel Channel. What? Your cable system doesn't carry the Travel Channel? Well, then put down that remote and pick up the phone. Tell your cable operator that you want the Travel Channel.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Not much precipitation across the country tonight, so travel not greatly hampered by Mother Nature. Pacific Northwest getting grazed by our next storm. And here in Southern California, boy, it has been a wet time. Check on radar now. The latest wave of moisture rotating around the backside of an area of low pressure that's just off your TV screen down here. It's raining at LAX. Also some light showers at Oceanside and more out of radar range into the Imperial Valley and the deserts. Look how much has fallen here. Just since 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's a record for Bakersfield, California. And we'll see more rain into the deserts here, too. Mountain snows, as a matter of fact. That heavy snow warning continues in effect for the mountains just outside of L.A., San Gabriel's and the San Bernardinos. 2 to 4 more inches heading up into the high country there or in Arizona. Make sure you take the tire chains and an extra blanket just in case you get spinning with those wheels. And again, boy, does this sound like a broken record or what? The dense fog that will continue here, the Will Rogers Turnpike, Kansas Turnpike, up to Rush Street in Chicago. We'll be back with that week forecast next.
Rangers, Cherokees, Broncos, Explorers, Pathfinders, Blazers. Any pickup or 4x4, on-road or off. Introducing the tough new LTX Light Truck Series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Regional forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Hey, good evening and a happy holiday to you. Bill Keneely with you. And Jill, we have done pretty well so far, but there are some pretty not so subtle hints that things are changing by latter next week. Back over, Karnak says, the Midwest and eventually the Northeast.
The translation on that would be nice and mild.
Winter will be winter. How's that?
That's better. We're going to get back to some winter weather. As a matter of fact, some folks have had it today. Let's take a look. Right in California. We'll take you to central California, the Sierra Nevada. Of course, they've been hit by snow over and over this year. You're looking at Strawberry, California. Christmas Eve. What a picturesque scene. Just about perfect. Although, for travelers, chains were required, and while the snow has left the Sierra today, the ski resorts have a fresh 4 or 8 inches on the ground, and Southern California and Arizona are now getting the big snows. So we are seeing some snow out there, although it was not a white Christmas for many folks across the country. This was the snow cover as of this morning. A little bit here in northern New England, although they had rain for the most part yesterday. In the upper Midwest, I bet you a lot of the snow that was on the ground this morning is gone. International Falls had another record high today. That's 4 out of 5 days. They may get another record high tomorrow. By about midweek, that'll probably be changing. As Bill had mentioned, we see winter kind of finally coming back. In the mountains of the west, 6 inches of snow on the ground. Now, of course, that's where we've had snow again and again. There's more on the way. Let's check our forecast for snow. Now, this is from 5 o'clock this evening to 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So as I mentioned, the heaviest stuff, Southern Cal and along the Mogollon Rim, the White Mountains in Arizona, where we have heavy snow warnings in effect. We may end up with more than a foot. We've been picking up that snow all day long, and looks like this storm will just meander its way to the east, so the snow will continue in almost the same spots tomorrow. California, chances are you'll see it tapering off by tomorrow. So here's how it looks right at the moment. Small area of precipitation, little area of low pressure here. Some rain, which has been heavy in the lower elevations. We have had some reports of minor flooding with about a ½ inch of rain around Parker, Arizona, Imperial, and California's had a fair amount of rain. San Diego County's got a good soaking as well, so we have basically a little bit of both. To the north, we're getting an onshore wind, and then kind of a wet day in Seattle. Looks like that will continue in the next 24 hours. So here's our area of low pressure in the upper atmosphere, surface low, a little bit farther to the east. This whole mess just slowly moving to the east. So we'll continue talking about this one for at least another 24 hours. It's headed towards Texas, and you'll get some rain. In the meantime, though, under high pressure, it's been pretty mild, pretty quiet weather. Our main problem has been fog. Let's take a look at our setup, and we'll tell you why we've had such persistent fog the last few days. We've had stratus clouds, the moisture trapped through here, and we've had an inversion, which means the warm air is already on top. It has nowhere to go, so there's no mixing here. We haven't had any winds. They've been very light under high pressure. And of course, in December, with that low sun angle, no sun really to burn that fog off. So it was a problem today, and it looks like it's going to be a problem again tomorrow.
Well, Joe, it looks like Rudolph came through in the clutch after all. That dense fog has been a big problem today over the nation's midsection. However, most of us have had to deal with fog at one time or another. Now, Dennis Smith explains just what causes fog.
Fog can cause havoc on the roads and in the air. Travel becomes a nightmare as visibility is reduced. Fog is basically a cloud on the ground. The most common type is radiation or ground fog. This forms when humid air is cooled to its dew point, causing water vapor to begin condensing into tiny drops. On clear, still nights, heat radiates away from the ground, cooling the ground and the air next to it. Heavier cold air flows into low places. Fog forms as the air cools to its dew point. Fog is normally less than a couple of 100 feet deep. When the sun rises, the heat burns off the fog as the temperature rises above the dew point. Dennis Smith, the Weather Channel.
All righty, we take a look at our current map, and as we mentioned, we had snow in the west, a little fog out here in the plains in the east. Of course, yesterday we had our big nor'easter. That has finally moved out, and actually for Christmas Day has not been bad out through here. The winds have certainly calmed down. The storm's still there. It's just far enough off the coast at this point that it's not going to be a problem. Most of the rain has disappeared. We're kind of waiting for this front to drop south, so while you had 50s, even mid-50s in Boston and New York today, temperatures will be dropping the next day or two, probably about 10 degrees or so by tomorrow, so a little bit cooler weather coming in. Down south now, we've had a little bit of rain, not much through here. We actually are expecting that rain to kind of dissipate by tomorrow and temperatures begin to warm up, and it'd be about time, it looks like, as we've had some cool weather. Most of the east mild, too warm for snow. Southeast has been a little cool, and wouldn't you know it, our sunny day in Atlanta kind of ruined by some clouds and a few sprinkles through here. All right, let's take a quick look at temperatures before we move on out of here. Here you go, 52 in Atlanta, 52 in New York City, though. This time of year, you think New York City might be a little bit cooler than Atlanta. What we're looking at in the next few days is a little bit of a warm up in the east. Later in the period, the winter coming back. We'll check that forecast in a few minutes.
Well, things are quieter now in the east after a very rough week. You remember Boston enduring 80-mile-per-hour winds the night before last due to those big storms in the Atlantic. Now let's take a look back at the big events of last week in Weather Rewind.
Weather Rewind, a look back at the past week's weather.
The week before Christmas started with a big Pacific coastal storm, bringing floodwaters to Washington state. Some areas of Seattle had to be evacuated. San Francisco also saw heavy surf with 15 to 18-foot swells reported. This storm system remained in the Pacific Northwest, where it would die out in the next few days. But in the central states, a low-pressure system brought rain and thick fog to the area. Minneapolis saw the most fog, delaying motorists and airlines throughout the day. During midweek, in addition to the low over the central U.S., a storm developed near Florida. Rain and wind plagued the Sunshine State. In Miami, a dramatic rescue took place as a man was swept into the water while trying to tie up his boat. That storm moved out over the Atlantic. The surf at the Outer Banks in North Carolina began to pick up, just a sign of things to come. By Friday, 2 powerful East Coast storms were on the weather map. The more southern one lashed the beaches with wind and surf and brought flooding rains to South Carolina. And farther north, another storm brought dangerous wind gusts to southern New England. Coastal residents in Massachusetts dealt with heavy surf as well as downed trees and power outages. For Weather Rewind, I'm Declan Cannon.
Now, a program note to tell you about. Here on the Weather Channel, find out how weather affected one of America's costliest battles 50 years ago. Watch Battle the Bulge, Forecast for Victory. It is a 5-part series which airs tomorrow, running right on through to Friday, December 30th. Let's check out our forecast now for the lower 48. We continue to see that high building in, very stable air. Unfortunately, that high could be a little more windy. We would like it to be a little windier, we'd say. Things would mix up and then we'd burn the fog off earlier tomorrow. But still, looks like that fog will be around in the morning. Very thick tonight in the Kansas City area, maybe pretty nasty west of St. Louis. During the day, we should improve things, though. Back up the coast, we find a little cooler and drier air for the northeast. Pesky nuisance, call it what you will. Low pressure off the coast may bring a few more showers to Myrtle Beach and Georgetown and Charleston, South Carolina. Rainfall, this thing is a real pinwheel now out west. It's going to start to pinwheel snowfall, we think, up into Colorado. During the day, the San Juans, the Sangre de Cristo should do very well. And finally, that front moving ashore later on tomorrow night into the Washington area. California starting to dry out in the LA basin. Heavier rains in Arizona, Maricopa County, Phoenix area. You may see upwards of an inch of rain tonight. Up in the hills, up there at 5,000 to 6,000 feet, the rim country may see another 6 to 10 inches of snowfall. And again, for Monday, a lot of folks jockeying for position in the parking lots in the malls. It will be mild up around New York. Stays pretty warm much of the work week now, but watch Wednesday night into Thursday. Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Marquette, after record high today, turning a lot colder as we get into the tail end of the week. And a quick little jaunt through the work week weather-wise, watching our system coming out of the southwest. Could be a variety of weather, Kansas City area coming up for Thursday. Then it looks like on Friday, Jill, we'll have to watch the northeast as we may see enough cold air at least to bring a little snow or sleet out at the onset, but that's a long ways away.
We could use a little bit more snow. As a matter of fact, we'll check some of the ski resorts. We'll show you who's gotten snow in the past 24 hours.
Looking for a unique, exciting winter vacation? A place that will give your spirits a lift, your body a challenge, your eyes a feast. Feed your mind and your soul. All in Buffalo Bill's Yellowstone.